This happened in 2016 when I was 17 years old. I lived alone in my first apartment. It was really small, but I was really proud of my independence. I never felt unsafe in this apartment for several reasons. There were multiple gates in the residence that needed a code that only the residents knew. My door had 3 different locks, and it was right next to the university, so most people who lived there were college students. Nothing bad had ever happened in the neighborhood before. I've always been very careful with locking the door when I leave my home. I'll always check twice. So this one time, I leave to go to class, but for some reason I couldn't get the key out of the lock. So I went to get the caretaker of the building to help, but he wasn't there. I was getting late for class, so I went with the key still in the lock. I took the key off the keychain first, so it's not so noticeable. When I got home, the caretaker was back, so he came to help me. It took 15 minutes to free the key. He told me the lock was damaged, but I didn't necessarily need to change it, if only I locked it once instead of twice. I just said okay, and that was the end of it. I really wasn't worried because of how safe I felt in this building. Flash forward to 2 months later. I was taking out the trash one night around 11 p.m. while on the phone with my sister. I remember telling her that I was taking out the trash, then I was going to take a shower afterwards before heading to a party. As I previously said, I always lock the door, even just to take out the trash. With my lock being damaged, I only locked it once. When I got back to my apartment, I found the door unlocked, which immediately alarmed me. I went into the apartment and locked the door immediately with 3 different types of locks. When you walk into my apartment, you have the main room in front of you and the bathroom door immediately to your left. I left the bathroom door open slightly, enough so I can see a man in my shower turning his back to me. Naturally, when I saw this, I tried to open the door and leave as fast as possible, except my main lock was damaged from 2 months earlier. I couldn't open it, no matter how hard I tried. In this moment, all I could think of was the fact that I had to leave as soon as possible. I jumped out the window without really thinking. I figured it was the only solution. I lived on the 2nd floor, so I completely smashed my ankles in the landing. I started running in whichever direction I could. When I got a little bit further from the building, I looked back and saw a man there, standing in my window, watching me run away. I thought of 2 possible outcomes. Either the man was going to jump and chase me, or he would get scared of the heights and be locked in my apartment. Thankfully, he picked option 2. I went to hide in a bush a little further and called the police, who arrived in just 10 minutes. They pushed my door open, and the man was sitting there on my couch, holding a knife. They arrested the guy and later told me that he had already been arrested for sexual assault, rape, attempted kidnapping, and attempted murder. They also told me how everything had happened. Like I said, it was a very friendly neighborhood with mostly college students. So he got inside the building by other people holding the door for him. He then heard me telling my sister I was going to take a shower, which was why he was waiting in the bathroom for me. He tampered with my lock while I was taking out the trash. He apparently noticed me on school campus and followed me to my home several times before. I had recently changed my phone and the previous one was still on the table, so he thought I didn't have a phone and stayed inside waiting for me. After that, we all needed identification to get into the building. We had to scan them every time and was the only way to get inside. Nothing bad happened in the neighborhood after that. It's back to being very peaceful and friendly. The situation gives me the chills to this day. I lived in a sketchy part of the neighborhood. I was out of high school and looking for a job. I had never had a job outside of helping my mom clean houses my junior and senior year, so I was very naive and gullible at the time. My mom and I thought I should work someone else and gain some outside experience. Plus I needed money for my college. My mom loved to read newspapers. We would get the Spanish newspaper called Mundo Hispanico every single week. I would look through it once in a while to read the comics or to see job ads at the end. One evening, I was so determined to find a job that paid well and would give me another set of work skills. I was going through the classification section when I found what I thought to be the perfect job for me. I don't remember word for word, but it was something along the lines of looking for young females ages 18 to 25 for an open massage position at this location. The location they gave was very close to where I stayed, so I thought it was perfect. I could walk to and from without having to worry about transportation since we only had one car. Massage training would be provided and the pay is good. Our girls earn anywhere from $500 to $900 a week. I thought, whoa, what a great wage. I can pay off my college in no time. I was so excited that I fit the profile. I showed my mom the job ad. My mom wasn't excited like I was, and she told me that it looked a little suspicious, that I should call first to see if there really was another person on the other side. So I did call, and a lady answered. I asked about the training, the pay, and where the location was. She seemed very sweet on the phone. She told me before we moved forward, they were doing interviews and already had other candidates. She said that I should come in for an interview to see if I would make it to the second round of interviews. I agreed. She gave me the address and I looked it up. I told my mom that I was going to the interview at set time at this location and alone. She told me there was no way I was going alone and that she would come with me. I was so mad because I wanted to do this by myself without her having to help me. The day came and she drove us. Now the address the lady gave me was weird. It took us to a motel behind the shopping plaza next to our apartment. It didn't make sense to me why they were having an interview there, so we just circled the plaza looking for the place. My mom got frustrated and told me to just call the lady for the exact location. So I did, and she told me the number of the room they were in, that they were in there because it was a safety precaution. It seemed to make sense to me. I told her that I still could not find the place, so if she could speak to my mother and tell her where exactly this place was. "You're with your mother?" This time her voice changed from sweet to almost a half-angry, half-panicked one. I said yes, I am with her right now because she is driving me. I passed the phone to my mom and she said hello 3 times or so. The lady had hung up on her. I called 2 more times, but she never picked up the phone. I was mad that the lady had just hung up, and so we went back home. I never put 2 and 2 together until about 3 years after. I heard on the news that some people got busted and charged with human trafficking. They used a newspaper ad that was very similar to the one I had read years ago. I thank my mom over and over, because if it wasn't for her, I could have been dead or had been trafficked. I don't know where I would have ended up. I am so grateful for my mom, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more or simply like to support my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out. Until next time.